Okay, guys, today what I want to talk about is, and I have to throw this in there like I told you in previous videos, or I'll be removed or threatened with being banned. So what I want to talk about is my opinion of the American double standard that's going on at our border. Now, we all know that there's an issue at our border, but do you realize not only is it an issue, a crisis, a circumstance, a situation, whatever the hell Jinsuki wants to call it, okay? Here's the legality of it. If I was to take an 8, 9, 10, 11-year-old child and leave them sitting in a car while I went into Walmart and went shopping for an hour, by the time I came out, they would have my car windows broken, my door busted open, and I would be on my way to jail for leaving an unaccompanied minor. Now, let's take that same situation and say if I was to leave my dog. If I was to leave my dog unattended in a car in situation, crisis, circumstance, weather, whatever it is you want to call it, in my opinion, they would break the window, bust open the door, and I would be on my way to jail with animal abuse charges. So, with that being said, why are we allowing unaccompanied children to come into our country and stay in cages without adequate heat, in my opinion, without adequate food, in my opinion? And I really honestly have to say, I have to form this opinion because apparently Joe Biden and Jinsuki and the rest of them have something to hide, because they have put a gag order on anyone working at the border. The press isn't allowed in. The general public's not allowed in. No one's allowed to go in and see, film, or photo or talk to the children, adults, or see the conditions in which they are being held in. Now, my sources say that these children are given a tinfoil blanket and made to lay sideways so they can stack them on the ground in these cages. Now, my sources are also saying that Biden is trying to blame this on Trump. Are you kidding me? I saw pictures, and I'm sure the rest of y'all have too, before, they tried to facto fuck check them. But we've all seen the footage of people wearing the t-shirts that say Biden on them. Not one refugee is hollering, "Thank you, Trump." Not one is saying we came because Trump invited us. Not one is saying, "Where's Trump?" Not one of them is asking for Trump. And Biden is sitting up there going, "Of course they're coming, because I'm such a nice guy." So, not only did they try to blame this on Trump, but then they turned around and took credit for it. Now, facto fuckers, fact check that, because that is a fact. They all are wearing Biden shirts. They have literally stated that they are coming because Biden invited them. And Biden said, of course they're coming. I'm a nice guy. He said it. Fact fucking check it. Anyway, here's what I don't get the legality of. Why are we not turning these children around, deporting them back to their country, and allowing their country to, unraft the fucking legalities and penalties upon their children or upon their parents for literally abandoning their children? We literally have neglect, abandonment, endangerment. I mean, these are all charges that you hear quite frequently from the CPS, DPS, Child Protective Services, whatever the fuck it is you want to call it here in America. This is all legal terms that parents here in America hear whenever they want to come in and take your children. You hear the words like unattended, unsupervised, child endangerment, neglectful welfare of a minor. Where are all these charges on these immigrant parents? Why are there no legal repercussions being taken place? Why are none of our so-called in-charge people, why aren't they being charged? Okay, they've decided to allow these minors in. They've taken these minors in, and they're supposed to be in charge of them. From what my sources are telling me, and out there in my opinion, there are 2 DHS workers that have taken custody of over 1,000 children. So you're going to tell me they are not unattended minors? You're going to tell me that there's not child endangerment going on? You're going to tell me there's not child neglect going on? You're going to tell me that there's not educational neglect going on? Medical neglect going on? I'm confused. I am completely and utterly confused at how it is okay for this to go on in America. This is going on in America. This isn't going on in Mexico. No. These people have crossed the border and they are in America. They are on American soil. They are being held in cages and they are being neglected mentally, physically, educationally, medically. But let someone call the cops on me. They're going to show up with a few workers. They're going to show up with a few cops. They're going to demand to see my kids. They're going to want to look at my refrigerator. It's like, what the fuck? What the fuck? Our government is, I can't stress this enough, our government is mentally, medically, emotionally, educationally neglecting the welfare of multiple minors. And not a goddamn thing's being done about it. Where are all you upset liberals? Where are all you people that voted for this? You can't possibly believe that just because you don't see it on the 4 o'clock, 6 o'clock, 8 o'clock, 10 o'clock news, that it's not happening. I guarantee you, if you take your liberal asses down to the border to try to see for yourselves, I bet you won't. I bet you they won't let you near. From what I hear, the conditions these people are living in, their cages literally smell like shit and vomit. I hear from my sources that there are physical outbreaks of violence among the children over food, because when they do show up with food, they don't show up with enough. I guess I should throw a "that's in my opinion" out there. There's just so much going on that I don't understand, because we in America are not allowed to treat our animals the way they are treating these children. Think about that. Let that sit in for a minute. If I had 50 dogs in a cage out back, and I was feeding them once every 4 days, and I had a bunch of tinfoil laying out there for them to wrap up in, so they could get out of the elements or protect themselves from the cold or whatever. And my neighbor called. I'm not even saying 400. If I had 50 dogs in a cage that was built, if I had 50 dogs in a cage that was built to hold the capacity of 250, but I only had 50 dogs in a cage, and let's say I threw 40, 50 tinfoil blankets out there, and I went out there with enough food for 10 of them every 4 days, and my neighbor called the police. Animal control would show up at my door. The news media would show up at my door. The police would show up at my motherfucking door. Over dogs. Over fucking dogs, people. Dogs. I would be in handcuffs. I would be carted off to jail. My dogs would immediately be dispersed between foster homes and rescue centers. They would be given immediate veterinary care. Immediate. Hear what I'm saying? They would be given immediate veterinary care. They would be given immediate food and water. And we're talking about dogs. But yet, on American soil, over at our border, we are housing 400 children in a cage. Children in a cage built to the capacity of 260, but we've got 400 in there. And nobody's been called. Nobody's rushing food. Nobody's bringing adequate medical care. Nobody is even allowed to talk about it. And if they do talk about it, they are threatened with losing their job. They are threatened with jail time. they are threatened with all kinds of shit. And what I don't understand is why the American people in the state of Texas are allowing this to happen. Why are the DHS workers allowing this to happen? Why is border security? See, here's the thing. If 10 of you speak out, they can't make you all disappear, and they can't all replace you. If every single person in charge at the border speaks out and stops hiding this, they can't fire you all, because they need somebody. They need somebody there to run this operation. And apparently they don't have enough people there as it is. We literally have thousands of people showing up to the border every day. And I can't imagine the thought of a migrant or immigrant or illegal or whatever we're calling them, parent, who would strap a book sack on their 4, 5, 6-year-old child, shove them across the border and wish them good luck. I can't imagine what goes through that adult's mind. I can't imagine being a 4-year-old child shoved into a world where you have no control, no communication, because we don't even know what language these children speak, because they are coming from multiple countries of origin. And here's something else I don't get. Why are all these people rushing to a country where black people are claiming they're so suppressed, oppressed, depressed, repressed, whatever fucking pressed? I mean, why? I mean, you literally have a group of black people swearing up and down that, you know, this is the worst place to be, let's burn the fucking flag, fa la la la, it's horrible to be here. Yet you have thousands daily, thousands of immigrants daily, literally breaking into our country because they have enough sense to realize that it's bullshit. They have enough sense to realize that they're not oppressed, suppressed, repressed, depressed. They're all ready and willing to go work for what they want. They're not waiting for a food stamp or public housing or a welfare or a handout. But that's another video. Getting back to the subject at hand, is I literally don't understand what is taking place and why. I can't understand why Texas is even allowing it. I mean, Texas is supposed to be this great state right now where they're claiming their independence and they're claiming this and they're claiming that. Why aren't you citizens? God, I wish I lived close enough. Why aren't you Texas citizens marching your asses down in groves like you showed up for Trump rallies? Y'all need to show up for border rallies. Y'all need to go down there and demand answers by the thousands, by the hundreds of thousands, by the millions. Texas citizens need to show up and demand that this not happen on y'all soil. Y'all need to demand that the law not be broken in y'all state. Because that's what they're doing. They're doing it by the masses. Child neglect, child endangerment, medical neglect, educational neglect, mental health neglect. These children need food. These children need shelter. These children need help. These children need to be returned to their parents, and they need to be returned to their countries so that they can be dealt with there. So they can be helped, dealt with, whatever the case may be. Because the situation is not getting any better, and we have our own children. We have our own children to deal with. We have our own children who are being, according to statistics, since the pandemic started, the amount of American child abuse has gone up. So that in itself tells you we have our own issues to deal with. We have our own children to protect. We have our own children to provide for. We have our own children to look out for. And we have the needs of our children that we need to be putting first. Our American children's medical, educational, well-being are being ignored because of this bullshit pandemic. And I said it, plan, not EPA, but plandemic. You know, and I'm glad that Biden can literally sit around and talk about what a great guy he is, and that's why they're coming. But this great guy is storing these children the same way he stored our American soldiers in a parking garage when he had no further use for them. See, it's not a voting season. It's not a voting year. So he has no use for these people. So they're literally being stored in parking garage cages, if you will. Because he won't whoop them out his ass until he has a need for them. In my opinion. Throwing that out there, facto-feckers, in my opinion. Yes. Why are we allowing these children to miss so many days of school? Why are we allowing these children to go without food, to go without water, to go without bath, to go without medical? Why are there known cases of the coronavirus amongst these immigrants that are coming in, and they ain't social distancing, they're not wearing masks? Here's the thing, it's another case of what's good for ye ain't good for me. So I'm sitting in a Chinese restaurant yesterday, nothing like the one I went to when I went on my overnight weekend, but just one I found here in town. The amount of plastic I saw was outrageous. The fact that they didn't even have plates, I'm literally eating, or plastic plates, everything was styrofoam. It was just sad. I have to say, the food was sad, the atmosphere was sad. The only thing that I enjoyed was the company that was with me. And that's because it was my husband. If it wasn't for my husband being with me and me enjoying the time that I spent with him, I probably would have got up and walked out. A sad, sad occasion when you will take and destroy a business, but then bring in all these people that we can't take care of. We can't take care of our own. We aren't taking care of our own. Well, and when I say our own, I don't care if you're black, white. If you're a legal American citizen, you're our own. I don't care what ethnic group you come from. We are not taking care of our own. Yet, Biden's sitting back talking about what a great guy he is. And that's why they're coming. Yeah. Okay, McSniffer. You're a great guy. What are you going to do about the crisis situation, circumstances, whatever the hell it is, challenges at the border? According to Kamala Harris, what are you going to do about that? And I'm not even going to go into what I think is wrong with her. Because in my opinion, she's smoking better weed than I am. And trust me, I've had some good shit since I became a legal card-carrying user. And she's admitted to being a smoker. But facto feckers, feel free to check that. Because Camel Toe has admitted to being a weed smoker. And yet all of her co-workers who were weed smokers are gone. But again, that's a whole nother video. Anyway, I'm about to wrap this up because my time on my treadmill is about up. And I'm about to go get my snowball. Because all my friends on Facebook know I like my snowball after my 30-minute walk. So, guys, look. My heart goes out to those children. Because I was raised in and out of foster care. So I know what it's like to be in a group home, in a placement with a whole bunch of other kids and have no control over where you end up, where you go next, what happens to you, when you eat, if you eat. I know that experience because I lived it. So, with that being said, my heart goes out to those children because it's a scary situation. And I have jokingly said to my husband a few times, we need to go down there and scoop up some kids and bring them home and just give them a new life, you know. Let's go scoop up some kids, rename them, and give them the fairy tale life that they're looking for. And I wish I could. I wish I could, because I would in a heartbeat. I would go grab as many as I could fit in my vehicle, and I would bring them back to my house, and I would give them the life that they're looking for. But as it stands, I legally can't do that, and only Biden can do that, and he's not, in my opinion. So I'm gonna wrap this up, guys. It's Saturday, I want to say March the 26th, something like that. Anyway, have a good weekend, guys, and thumbs up it.